Optic when they were at their prime in a sense as well. So not surprising at all.
Yeah.
Expect them to do it here. It's going to be the battle between these two guys, especially in this first hardpoint.
And Merc, we saw Attach may not have the top hardpoint KD right now or to what we're used to seeing, but it's not everything. What role does this guy play on this team? Top hardpoint
he
KD
does a lot
right
of the
now.
dirty work, and really we saw that last year in Black Ops 3. Like he was sort of the guy trying to Black Ops 3, sort of his play style to fit around this team. He's sort of that objective mindset guy. He's going to be in the hill, but when he doesn't need to be, he can slay all around the map.
Now these guys have been playing for a long time today, wondering, is fatigue beginning to set in? I don't know. When you're playing for top 3, Merc, you've played many times. I feel like you're now focused more than ever.
Oh, absolutely. That's all these guys care about. As soon as they get into that game, everything else around them, how they're feeling, it doesn't matter.
And I know this weekend we've had a lot of ways that you guys can watch online. Obviously the youtube.com/MLG stream, but the big thing that's been revealed this weekend by Major League Gaming is the enhanced viewing experience, the EVE platform, a new way to watch Call of Duty, individual player feeds. You can watch a single player or an entire team. More in-depth stats than ever before, more for the viewer to do with the score streak beta going up. I've been seeing thousands of votes go down by viewers predicting where rounds would go, making their thoughts on series and certain plays. See it all in action on MLG.tv/COD. You can hear still a lot of crowds in this venue. We've obviously got our main stage crowd, but also Optic Gaming playing through that losers bracket against, I believe, Complexity on one of the featured stations. So there's still so much on the line this weekend. From everything you guys have seen so far as we wait for this match to start on up, which team has really impressed you the most? We now know of one team in the top 4. Teep, I'll start with you.
It's so tough. At one second, I think E6 is going to be my favorite team. Then ALG comes in, sweeps them out of the winner bracket.
Yeah.
Then Cloud9 just clutches and beats ALG in the other winner semi. It's really tough to say. I guess in terms of just pure clutch ability, you have to give it to Cloud9. They somehow just find a way to win. Is it pretty? Not by any means. Can they fix a lot of things going in tomorrow? 100%. But a win's a win, right? A top 3 is a top 3. And, Patrick Price, he thrives in those sorts of situations.
It's just what he does. The first blood in round 11 was too fun to see. Merc, coming into this one now, Rise Nation versus Faze Clan. We talk about how Faze, their strength is the respawns. Rise, really not so much. It's their S&D that has gotten them to this point. What is the map in this series that Rise just needs to win? Because this hardpoint's going to be tough. Is it the Blake? Do you think they have a chance at hardpoint? Where do you think it goes?
I mean, after 3-0ing Optic yesterday, I think they can win multiple respawns against this Faze team. It's something that they discussed about yesterday. You heard Looney talk about it in that post-game interview. He said after PSX, he said we went home and we just grinded hardpoint. He goes, I picked these guys up, and these guys were some of the best search and destroy players in the world. That's not what we need to focus on. We need to win respawns if we want to win tournaments.
And that's what they've been trying to improve upon this weekend, with Felony going absolutely off with just shy of a 1.5 KD in those respawn game modes. As always, stay involved in the conversation on social media. Use that hashtag MLG Vegas as we get into the rig draft for the final series of the night here on MLG Primetime. Faze Clan and Rise going for their selections back and forth. We've touched on a little bit of certain players picking that Centurion. Clayster always going away from that trophy drone. And I've spoken to him a little bit about this. He's got some ideas on why he's not a big fan of it. Will elect to go with Harden this time around. It's our final series, as I've mentioned, for a spot in top 3. Who will it be, boys? Faze or Rise? Team from you.
I'll go with Faze.
Merc, I'll go with Rise.
Oh, okay, I like that. Our analysts aren't agreeing. I've got Faze. For now, though, it's time for our casters to take away game number 1.
Thank you very much, Jack. Matt, do you sometimes think that Jack looks like a giant toddler?
Yeah, no, that's what I always
like.
think.
Not like what's the opposite of a shrink ray? Something that would like blow up a 3-year-old and just strap a blazer on it. That's Jack.
Accurate.
All right, well, let's get into it, though. I'm going to start off with Attach. That video was great, though. That was he's good on camera, man. He was funny.
Yeah, no, that was pretty awesome to watch him do that. And we see at the beginning of this game, it'll be Rise Nation inside of the hard point. We got them in blue, and Faze will be in red. But this is one map that I actually think probably favors Faze a little bit more, because this is one of the... It's not like Retaliation where it can be really slow and you're going to be able to just kind of like work down the opponents. This is one that still plays pretty fast, even with the new spawns.
And you've seen how good they can be on the ones that play a little bit slower, like Breakout earlier, that monumental win we saw over Splice. But let's see how they handle it here. Sticking with Felony for the moment, as he is 4-0 to kick it off. They came off against that big win against LG. You got to think, I don't know, bad blood's the right word, but some animosity maybe with the big team changes that kind of go on between those two teams, and they end up getting the edge.
Without a doubt, I think that's a huge momentum swing for this Rise Nation roster. Beat a lot of their old members from last year. Felony, he's going to drop, but gets the streak, so he gets the bombardment in the Trinity rocket. It's going to be attached, though, in the kill feed, picking up 2, and it's going to be Faze Clan getting control of this turbine hardpoint. So Looney just waiting for his teammates in the back here. Smart play. You see how far away the rest of his teammates are spawning. They're going to be able to wipe him out of the hill with some streaks and a kill. They're going to get it right back.
Yeah, Felony, I believe, got 2 with the bombardment, then found 1 with the K-bar as well. I'm going to go back to him. He's on a 3 streak again. He's 9-1, known mostly for his S&D gameplay, you would say, kind of coming into the last couple years. He's really been stepping it up in the respawns.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen explosive games from him in the past in respawn game modes. I can think to one last year was against Optic Gaming on an evac hardpoint to kick off a series. I believe it was the grand finals of Anaheim. So Felony, we have seen him pick up some big kills and some big moments. And for this Rise Nation team, that's what we talked about a lot coming into this event. It's like they didn't look good at PSX. They go home, they work on their respawn game, they come out, they look much better. It was like, where are they going to find these other kills besides Aqua? And you're definitely seeing Felony step up in a big way.
Yeah, they need him to. They certainly do. Speaking of Aqua, let's hop on with him for a little bit. Actually, I take it back, because Vicento, he started out 0-2. He's now fired off 3 in a row, and he had some really, really good hard points. Wasn't it Scorch yesterday where he ended the game with that 11 streak? It was one of their first series where he really exploded.
Yeah, and it's Rise Nation pulling away in this game, which is going to be very difficult for Faze to make the comeback. At least in my opinion, I feel like it's a lot harder to make comebacks now in a hardpoint, because you're going to have to just keep chipping away. It's not like before where you can get these full holds consistently. Like if you rotate early, you're going to get those first 15 to 20 seconds.
I don't know. We've seen some crazy comebacks this weekend, though. I mean, I can kind of see both sides, because if you do get a string of two really nice hard points, like we saw, I'm trying to think what team it was on Retaliation, but they held Graveyard Cathedral really, really well, and then also won the quick break on Broken and racked up like 100 straight points, basically. So some of them you can. Here, maybe a little bit more difficult on this map, but some, I think you certainly can mount some crazy comebacks.
Well, I think, look, I mean, the other team can get a decent amount of points on a hill, right? You rotate early, you take the first 20 or so seconds, you keep your lead still intact, and you just kind of ride that all the way towards the end. It's going to be Felony just sliding in, able to take out Attach. It's going to be another kill for the side of Rise Nation. So they do have control of the hardpoint, and Faze just looks a little bit off here, Maven. Just starting off a little bit sluggish, and able 3 and 10. But it just seems like they're not really going together. It seems like you're just seeing them really spread out, just playing these one-on-one individual fights.
Well, now they're trying to pinch as a unit. At least that's how it looked like it was developing on the minimap. But they lose every gunfight, basically. Outside of Attach, he's able to win 2, maybe find a 3rd, not able to do it. And now it's Vicento exploding. So early it was Felony. He's 14 and 6. He's having one hell of a game. And that's kind of what put Faze on their back foot to begin with, is those early streaks he got to break the turbine hardpoint. But now Vicento, he's getting close to 325 off the Trinity. He should get 1 from behind here as he's inching closer and closer to streaks. And we've seen streaks used really well on this particular map. You saw Envy close out this map, I believe, against Faze with that bombardment you saw from Apathy. So you can come up with some pretty clutch plays, but they continue to pull away.
Yeah, now one thing you're gonna want to keep a note on with Faze is just, it seemed like in their last push when we were talking about, they're coming on a pinch, it just seems like their timing's a little bit off, because Clay's coming from one side and he just goes in a little bit too early, and Attach is not in position to trade those kills out right away. He's able to get 1, but taken out, and Rise Nation gets control of the hardpoint. So we'll see if Faze can get on the same page here in the second half.
Yeah, they need to get something going, get the fans behind them a little bit. There hasn't been a whole lot to cheer for at this point, as it's just been a bit of a blowout. 100-point advantage right now for the side of Rise. Let's take a look at the spawns now. Attach is going to be spawning out by Turbine. They're trying to get back to Bridge, but you can see, even on a smaller, more hectic map like this, you still have a bit of a 5-second or so run just off a spawn to get back to mid-map here.
Yeah, and really, it's if Rise wins like 2 full, team wipes of gunfights, I mean, they're going to get all of this time still, which they do. The Hill's going to rotate here, and you see the kills on rotation. It's going to be 2 big ones from Attach. Aqua's able to take him out. But how often are you going to rely on Attach to just keep picking up these 2 pieces on rotation? Eventually he's going to lose them, and they've already gotten broken.
And this is where a lot of the damage got done before when they broke with Felony's bombardment. Now it's going to be Faze trying to break in. They do find 2 easy ones, maybe a 3rd in the back, trying to look for more kills. It's now Attach that can clean it up. You talked about how many 2 pieces he can get. That might have shut him back a little bit further than he meant to go, but he's still able to, no, he's not able to fly out and actually win that. And let's talk a bit about Enable. Let's stick with him on Respawn, because he struggled in S&D a little bit early in the weekend. He's bounced back in that, but now a really, really rough start. Not that there's anyone on his team really shining right now, but 7-17, Enable's got to turn it around, man.
Yeah, but you've seen Faze feeding a little bit. I mean, they've given Rise Nation some streaks. I believe it was Vicento at streaks and Felony as well. So we see as the game slows down, streaks become a little bit more prominent. They become a little bit easier to get, I think, just by being able to just lock inside of the hard points and pick up some consistent kills. So I think that's something that Faze and a lot of other teams, quite frankly, will have to kind of put in the back of their minds, like in Black Ops 2, where you didn't want to contest because you didn't want to give up streaks. It's just another thing they have to keep tabs on.
Well, and I think the reason maybe it comes a little bit easier at the end too is because you're getting those, I guess, desperation kills as the team tries to play a little bit faster. Maybe they want to. They're flying in one by one instead of as a unit. You're able to find some easy kills, but God, they're just getting punished right now. This is all Rise.
Yeah, and Rise can actually win off of this hard point, and this is really bad situation for Faze because you're going to have to at least contest here, get in, and you're going to have to get control of the new hill on the rotation. A beautiful use of the rewind there from Vicento, and you can see on your minimap, it's just Rise Nation slaying out time and time again.
And now what do you decide to do? You don't want to give up this scrap time because then the game's basically ice. You have to fight for it, but then what happens? Look over at Looney. They're already getting set up here at Drill. They've got observation deck locked down. You have Aqua inside who might be able to find a couple of kills, finds one before falling, but you have to fight for that scrap time because you're in desperation mode, and now you have a tough break again as they're set up nicely here at Drill.
Yeah, and Rise has set themselves up to win this game with relative ease, right? I mean, Aqua's going to pick up 2. You see Vicento just watching this cliffside. He's going to be able to pick up 1 easy one. He has Looney on the outside watching his back, and only 5 seconds left for Rise to put this one away. They are going to 100-point club Faze Clan here in our first map, 250 to 97.
Unexpected? I did not see that coming. Now, that's not me trying to downplay Rise's gameplay at all. That was incredible, but after seeing how well Faze played in Hardpoint, especially, that we'll keep going back to it, but that throttling they gave Splice in the game 1, whatever it was, 250 to 27 or whatever it was.
Basically nothing.
Do you think that, is it kind of to this map, it doesn't play like your Breakout or Retaliation? Maybe?
I actually thought this would favor Faze, to be honest. I mean, you look at, like, you have Attach and Zuma, 2 guys who can get flying in towards the hills, really close quarters engagements. You figured this is one where they would excel against a team like Rise Nation.
So what was it for you then? I mean, I'm interested to hear a couple maps from now when we go to the analysis to get their thoughts on it, but for you, was it slow play from Faze, or was it just Rise outclassing it?
I think it was just Rise just coming in a little bit more, amped up, prepared. Like, you can see the guys on stage, like, behind us.
It's late. It's like 11:30 at night. 2:30 on the East Coast, and I know these guys have been playing all day, so man, that could be part of it.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, they get a map like the one that they just had against Luminosity, the game 5, to be able to clutch up and win it, like, that could give you, like, a ton of energy going forward, right? I mean, it's a rival of yours. You get really amped up.
The
that
adrenaline
could
gets
be, like,
flowing, right?
some adrenaline that carries over into this game, so maybe we see if Faze bounces back in game 2. But I also think a part of, a little bit of feeding by the side of Faze, you're just keep challenging these hills over and over again. You give the streaks to Felony, you give them to Vicento, and they're able to use those streaks to just break into those hard points and take them back.
And now, what gets scary, Faze is a good search team, but I think Rise, no slouches there, especially at PSX. We saw them. Felony can play very aggressive. They play very well as a unit in Search and Destroy, and I think this is not going to be an easy win for Faze by any stretch of the imagination. If they go down 2-0, I mean, do you view this, I guess, my overall question, is this kind of a must-win for Faze here in the S&D?
No. Not really. I kind of view this how I view the Rise Optic series yesterday. So when Rise wins game 1, you kind of figure, okay, they're a very good Search and Destroy team. They win game 2. Like, the saving grace for them is they guarantee themselves the game 5. The uplink and the hard point right there, you're kind of playing with free money at that point. You put away the series, amazing. If not, you have your bread and butter there waiting for you at the end. You just need to secure that game 5.
Yeah, and it's a big game 1 win, though, for Rise, because, a lot of times yes, you can break things down more, but for me, sometimes it's simple. There's one team coming into a matchup that I favor in the respawns and one team that I favor in the Search and Destroy. A lot of times it's that simple in my head. I'm like, they're probably going to win the searches, they're probably going to win the respawns. If I was talking about this particular matchup, it would have been the respawns for Faze, and it probably would have been the Search and Destroy for the side of Rise, at least in my head, and now it's kind of flipped on its head a little bit.
But it's like the only consistent thing that's happened throughout this entire weekend is Cloud9 wins game 5. So, I mean, everything else has just been kind of tossed on its head.
That's a good point.
No other consistent outcome other than that.
Yeah, and I know that I rarely have any idea what's going on, and that's been a running joke.
Even rarely is giving yourself
rarely that is.
Yeah.
But still, that's been kind of the most fun part of this weekend for me. Is it's just everything seems so up in the air. I mean, maybe the weirdest. I guess kind of the games that went down for me was the 3-0 you saw of E6 over Optic.
That was,
and then all of a sudden E6 gets 3-0 by Allegiance like an hour later. I mean,
yeah,
well, now seeing how far Allegiance went and how tough they play Cloud9, I guess it makes sense. But at the time, I was just like, what the hell?
But Cloud9 has gone to Game 5 with everybody, so it's like, well, how strong were they against Cloud9? That seems to be Cloud9's thing, just taking teams to Game 5.
You and Jack nailed it when we did the little round table. I can't remember if I said top 6 or top 8 for Cloud9, but you guys thought top 3, top 4. And I'll be honest, I hadn't seen Cloud9 play a whole lot. I was just more going off what I'd seen from other teams and how stacked this open bracket was, how stacked pool play was. But you guys nailed it, man. They're looking strong.
Yeah, I liked Cloud9. It's just like they're not like a flashy team. It's like they're super consistent. They're not going to blow teams away. They're not going to get blown out. So you kind of...
Is that why they have a lot of Game 5s?
I mean, even speaking to them, they kind of feel the same way. It's like watching from far, obviously. Like I can only see so much, right? I only know the screen. I don't see the comms. But speaking to them, it kind of echoed the same sentiments that I had just watching it. It's like, well, if they're going to play teams close enough, and if they can get one good hold or win one big gunfight, they're going to win the match. And if you can put yourselves in those situations where, maybe just positioning whatever 70-25 advantage your way, you're going to win these series, which they are.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to be interesting this year. I feel like it was very, maybe not easy for us, but last year when we had the online league, we were casting so much, right? We were watching these teams, whether we wanted to or not, we were watching these teams every single day, basically. I felt like I always knew going in who was going to be taking it, but with the way that's going to be this year, kind of lands into the league. God, it's
sometimes 1,000 Thieves was tough to watch.
Yeah, Pat. I saw some tweets going back and forth between Aches and Royalty. I was like, oh, the old 100 Thieves squad. Yep. But here we are on with Faze, as they're going to be looking for kills early. They are at a 3-on-3, but the pistol not going to be enough there to find one at close range, and now it's Enable by himself. 1 versus 3, make it 1 versus 2. If he wins that gunfight, might give himself a chance, so that's tough there with the cover of the bomb.
Yeah, really fast round in favor of Rise Nation. They get extremely aggressive over by the A site, and they're just able to swarm on top of Faze. I think that definitely caught Faze off guard a little bit, not expecting the aggression coming out from the defensive side of things. So Faze, they really need to wake up here. It seems like you just kind of get the vibe in the venue and stuff. Like, it's just like, usually the Faze fans are really loud and whatnot, supporting the guys. Like, it just seems like really kind of quiet on their side. Yeah.
And to be fair, there wasn't a whole lot in game 1 to root for, right? There wasn't a lot going right for their side, so you can see that being a big part of it. But now let's check on with Rise. Felony playing below with Bomb. You play a little bit of cat and mouse / hide and seek. You see kind of here down in the bike path. It can be very, very tricky. You saw Royalty playing down there, how annoying that would be to deal with. Just continuously going vertical across that bus, but it will be Felony finding first blood. And keep an eye on the minimap. That's 6 at the top. It's going to be Facento. I'm going to keep an eye there because he might get some brilliant timing here. Yep, there it is. He's going to find one kill around the back.
They did this exact strat the other day, so they kind of show over towards A. They give Vicento all this open area to get in the back by Lime, and he's able to get one kill, and it just slows the push coming from the other side of the map, and that was a big kill there. Looney saves a teammate's life as Zuma in the mid-rail is trying to pick up one. It's going to be all on Enable here in a 1v3. Highly unlikely.
Similar to round 1.
Yep.
Finds himself in a position again. He has one around the corner. Should know that he's dipped out to the left at this point, or maybe he didn't get any actual vision there. He only has 20 seconds to work with, so at this point you just have to make a play. Try and play fast. There's one in blue, one playing inside a silo. He would have needed basically perfect shots there and have to whip and find the second. He didn't really have a chance in this.
No, I mean, and the positioning from the guys on Rise is phenomenal. I mean, they're not going to be able to get collateraled like we saw the other day on this map. So they're able to just bait that out, and Able tries to make a play for the bomb. He drops. It'll be Rise taking our first 2 rounds here on Throwback S&D.
The one thing I will tell you is if it is, not like to make an excuse, but if it is an energy thing right now, if it is Faze just needing to wake up, kind of come alive in this series, there's no one better in the business than Clayster.
Yep.
To turn them around, to get them fired up, to get some energy going. It could be just he's 0-2. He didn't have a great game 1. There's nothing really to build energy off of. One like crazy round for him or clutch play, and all of a sudden you can see things kind of turn around.
Yeah, I mean, they need somebody, specifically Clay, I think I kind of hit it right on the head, to make a huge play. And I feel like he had Attach. He was trying to pick up some 2 pieces in the hard point, which he was, but they just were not able to just kind of spiral and build momentum off of it. They do get bombed down in first blood, though. So this round looking much better for Faze.
And this is what I was saying. Enable started out really slow. in Search and Destroy this week, but he has come alive. 5 and 3. He has 5 of the 7 total kills for Faze, but now it's all on Aqua. He's in a similar situation to what we saw Enable in the first couple of rounds. He's in a 1v2 and almost same time on the clock when we were talking about 20 seconds to work with. Doesn't really have too much of an opportunity. As he finds one, he now has to hunt the second. Does he realize he's out to his right? He's going to check below. Should be tagged in the back momentarily, but now even if he finds a kill, it's not going to matter. Faze is going to get around on the board.
And I feel like we've seen a lot of odd timings in Search and Destroy at this event, from just like a standpoint that 1v2, and then you see the player pick up one, and he's got like 12 seconds left, and he's not even like roaming around looking for the players. I mean, Allegiance Cloud9, they don't even try and get the bomb down there in the final round. I feel like you've seen a lot of odd timing plays in S&D.
And something like that, you know, some stuff you can attribute to a new title, obviously, but you feel like that wouldn't matter too much. But I guess maybe it does, even in those clutch scenarios where the map shouldn't matter too much. It's more about the clock. But I agree with you. We've seen some odd moments for sure, but it's definitely provided some entertaining moments as well. Facento on offense. Last time you saw him play out towards that A side. Now he's actually going to be first blooded, but it does get answered back almost immediately as Clayster does fall. So 3v3 here, and it looks like we may have a bit of a wrap.
Yeah, so you see an adjustment here from FaZe Clan. So it's the same exact strat from Rise Nation on the offense. They show towards A, they wrap towards B. This time, though, instead of wrapping all the way back towards their base, they go on the overextension here. They catch Aqua off guard, and now they have the advantage.
Well, let's go over to the side that's in the 2v3 here. It's going to be Looney and Felony trying to come up big. Felony is going to be the first one to probably get into an engagement here with the FaZe side. He gets tagged immediately, he drops. Now it's Looney in a 1 versus 3. Multiple players finding themselves in tough spots, but somehow they lined up for him there. And for a second, I thought maybe 2 were going to kind of just line up across the bomb and he would get lucky, but he still would have had 1 more to beat.
What's your gut feeling on how much longer he could have laid there without anyone shooting him? Because I don't know if that guy in silo was going to look down within the next 2 or 3 seconds and kill him.
Probably until the defuse went there. He just could have chilled there.
Honestly, I don't know.
And if he finds out, well, he would have needed what? Waited 5 more seconds, maybe something like that.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, you saw. Listen, I don't think there's a great chance it happens, but he's in that corner. You see from Enable's POV how dark it is. Like you can barely see him there. If maybe he waits another 2 seconds, kills the guy over on the silo, then he's able to get the bomb diffuser as well.
All right, well, Enable does have camo to work with this time. It's all tied up. Faze has started to come alive as I've started to die here on the broadcast, but I'm all right. Okay.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it really is. I'm getting up there in age. But Enable, mid-map, he's got 1 teammate to work with as well. I want to check out Felony's POV because he's going to poke right into this, and he is able to win the gunfight, and he's going to get his camo to work with. So now what looked pretty good for Faze, at least I thought, with Enable having camo in the 3v3, now strongly favoring the defense here, but let's go back over to Enable and Attach, see what they can get done.
And they need to clear this area out before they try and get bombed down. And you have Attach push all the way towards the backside. This is what we saw Facento do, and we'll see those blue arrows as soon as bomb goes down, how they elect to attack and the timing.
This is going to work out. This is going to work out beautifully or horrendous.
Yes.
He is going to find one from behind, saves his teammate's life as well. They are playing together here. They find another one. It's now just an awkward. It's going to be 1v1. Enable does have camo to work with. He takes it. And it looks like he's just going to dip, but he sees him on his left. Beautifully done there as he'll clutch it up. That camo you saw at the beginning of the round, it took some time to be used, but it comes up huge.
Yeah, and they played that actually perfectly. So when Attach picks up that first kill, he goes by the hay bale, and he's got Enable in the corner just watching the cross. They're able to pick up the second player. And then you see right there, beautiful use of the camo there by Enable in the 1v1 versus Aqua. He's able to win it.
Yeah, I mean, if it got hit from the other side, if they had pushed through blue and maybe mid-map, that doesn't work out in the same capacity whatsoever. But since they hit the back through barn, it works out perfectly for Faze. They clutch the 2 versus 3. Yes, you use the camo from Enable, so you use a little bit of utility in the process, but you'll take that for a round win. And now kills going back and forth, but Zuma able to find 2. Now all of a sudden, Felony by himself at a 1v3. He doesn't have camo to work with. He finds one, dips away, and he's got a chance here. Don't count him out. He hits that and then camos. Maybe he gets it done, but not able to do it. Good job, I guess. I mean, both players hitting him together, making sure there's no doubt they're going to finish the kill. Look at how many people hit him. Shot from Clayster, Zuma, and Enable.
And I tell you what, if he's actually behind that statue there, and then like if he lands directly vertically instead of like strafing to his right, and lands behind the statue and then pops camo, that might be a 1v3 scenario that Felony clutches.
Absolutely, and I don't care if he was one bullet. You know how difficult it is now, especially after the patch. Even harder to see that camo player get shots on him. He might be able to pull that off, but now back to offense will be Faze Clan. It's Attach opening up with another first blood. Is Faze looking to rebound after the game one. I do want to hop over to the flank because coming around the back was Felony, but he gets caught. Now it's Facento in a 1 versus 4. Good luck.
And these rounds have been odd because Rise Nation looked so good in the first two, and then Faze has just become the aggressor and just ran right through them. These rounds have not been that close.
And you can hear the crowd starting to get hyped. And what's interesting is I think you have the Optic match going on the side station as well. So the crowd's kind of split. You have a lot of Faze fans and Optic fans watching that. As soon as one of these finishes, I imagine they're going to start grouping up here, and it's going to get even louder. And you got to think the more that happens, the more it maybe starts to help Faze a little bit as they come alive.
I mean, Faze is definitely a team that kind of goes off of the crowd and the momentum and just the energy in the room. So would not be a good case for Rise Nation as they're making their way towards the middle of the map. Will be Facento with bomb in hand. They do like this push, so they're going to try and be the aggressor right back. They do get first blood onto Zuma, and now because they get first blood in the middle of the map, everything is opened up, but look at this flank coming in from Attach.
They've got a nice pinch here. You've got the number one of them in the map, which is Enable. I thought Attach was going to get a freebie for sure and then open things up for Enable. That's not the case at all. It's now Clay by himself. He has overdrive, but I don't think any amount of speed is going to help you take out 4 players. He falls. You get another round for Rise, but still, Faze just 1 round away here from tying up the series.
Now we'll see Looney in the final kill cam. Relatively easy kill here on Clay. Clay doesn't even get a shot off, so nice play there from Looney. We'll see if Rise Nation will continue to be aggressive. They've done a nice job winning these rounds when they are aggressive. When they play a little bit more passive, further back, they let Faze get up the map, and they're able to take those rounds.
Well, I think the past couple offensive rounds, you had a first blood for Zuma. Well, we really picked up 2. Then the next was, I think, a nade from Attach. I'm going to watch Zuma this time because you know how aggressive he likes to play. He's either first blood or he's dying. He finds it. Oh, my God. They almost line up for him to find a couple kills, but he drops with the overdrives hit. And Clay, where is he headed? This is kind of what we saw from Facento, right? Yeah,
it's a power position here because if you're able to get to this back area, it prevents the opposing team to rotate through this back line. And then, I mean, where are your options there? You have to go through mid-rails. That is a death trap, or all the way towards that offensive spawn.
Well, let's go over to the Rise side as they have to try and clutch the 2v3 to keep their S&D hopes alive. But the Thorn in the side may likely end up being Attached. Depending on where he hits this from, he could end up coming directly behind him. I think that's what we just saw.
Yeah, and he definitely has spotted the player in the back here. But Felony gets 2 before he drops. It's going to be a 1v1. Attach versus Looney. Attach lands some nice shots. He's going to have to back down, though. 15 seconds left on the clock. See Attach looking. And he's finally able to find him.
Oh, it was close.
Yeah.
It was close. That was almost insane. But he gets to it in time. He checks it. You already saw in the minimap. That's why I didn't really mind showing it, because you already saw him start to rotate over. You know he was going to check it. I just thought it was going to come down to the wire. I wanted to see how close it was. That was, what, a second? Maybe 1 more second he had that?
Yeah, probably. I think maybe another second away. And I think it even comes down to if Attach just doesn't jump up and see over the top of that bomb site. If he just takes another few steps to his right and then checks it, I don't think he kills him in time.
Whew, that was close. And you saw just kind of hit from his POV. He survived kind of a couple shots. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get this.
Yeah.
Attach, able to come up clutch. Now, let's talk a little bit about kind of how that game went, because it was, what, 0-2 for Faze? They were down a couple rounds early on. Then they started to get into it. What sparked that for you for Faze to kind of come back?
I think it was just the aggression from Faze. I think you saw Rise Nation the first 2 rounds. They were being aggressive. You saw Facento on the flank. They were doing some nice things. And then you saw Faze just push up the middle of the map, push straight through the A bomb site. Now we see here towards the end. So.
Second and a half. I mean, he was pretty darn close.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, if he doesn't jump over the top, he doesn't land those first few shots, that bar just is...
Yeah, probably gets finished.
Yeah.
So that one, almost a clutch from Felony. It's funny because I went to... The reason I switched to Attach in the first place there is because you saw him flanking on the minimap on Felony. I shouldn't have switched because I didn't think there was any chance Felony was going to get 2 kills before he came up. Or sorry, who got the 2 kills?
Yeah, Felony got 2 kills in the back.
Yes, I didn't think he was going to get those 2 kills before he actually got in behind him. So it almost kind of fell apart that Attach wasn't maybe with his teammates, but ultimately he gets the kill, the final 2 kills, and clutches up. And there's Felony. He's probably frustrated. He knows his team probably could have taken that game too if they played off the early momentum a little.
And that is a big win for FaZe Clan, because now, I mean, you can win the uplink and win a hardpoint and go back to your hotel room and go to sleep. I mean, that kind of throws away. Now it's going to force Rise Nation to win another respawn game mode if they want to force that game 5.
So Rise, game 1, FaZe, game 2. Now we're going to Frost uplink. Now, what's interesting is as powerful as the OSA was, we haven't seen it as much since there was a little bit of a patch, right? It's a little bit hard to handle, a little bit more recoil. But where we do see it, okay, so I'm trying to think of a range to explain maybe for a new viewer. So let's think throwback there. Top window to top window, you could kind of map somebody pretty easily with an OSA there. It's become a little bit more difficult at that range.
Yes.
One map we've seen a lot of OSAs, though, is Frost. I mean, that's probably the one we've seen it come out the most, where we see people dropping.
Because, I mean, you're not really going over towards that ridge side to fight.
Yes, it's all short to medium range gun fights. You don't have to worry as much about the recoil. So knowing that this is going to play more to the OSA, more to sub-light gameplay, even though you know it's an AR, does this favor any of these teams for you in particular?
I mean, you look at FaZe.
You would think, right? Feel and attach.
At PSX, they were pretty good with the OSAs, so I mean, they ended up winning the event. So you would figure, you know, Attach and Zoomer, 2 players you look at that should go off if you see those 2 weapons being prominently displayed here.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. That's why I wanted to ask you the question, because the more OSAs we're going to see on the map where you can dominate with them, I think that helps FaZe just with their playstyle.
Yeah, you would think, and especially well, if this was like a closer range hardpoint, I think you probably still want the K-bar, but because of uplink and just like how fast and aggressive the nature of play is, where, I mean, granted, great, you can definitely get like 4 wiped and the other team can push on you, but most of the time you're just going to be, you know, lead blocker with the drone guy, maybe one guy mid-map, and you're just trying to make a push, where the OSA is good to use as an aggressor.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to still see some K-bars here, but you'll see more than one OSA on the map from either side. I certainly kind of expect Attach and Zoomer to have those in hand, but we'll take a look at the rig draft. Anything separating the two? Nope. Looks like going to be a mirror matchup here, and you'll see that pretty commonly right now.
It's pretty much been a mirror matchup every
unless someone goes to Centurion and someone wants to use Overdrive. There's been a couple different.
In which case we question why you use the Centurion over the Overdrive, because we haven't really seen it pay off.
Yeah. That's really the only difference we've kind of seen. But we'll see, you know, as the meta evolves, the game changes, there's future updates, maybe weapons will be back in it. You saw the Claw used a lot at PSX for some crazy plays. Not going to see it here this weekend unless some massive change happens over the course of the next day. But here we go. Game 3, we're going to start off with Rise Nation. Off the break, see if they can get some points going early.
No. See Vicento just kind of hit this mid-wall run, but it's going to be 2 dead. Make it 3 dead. It's going to be just Vicento alive here for Rise Nation, and he's picking up big kills in the middle of the map. That's going to stall the push from FaZe just long enough that it's going to be able to get the reinforcements up for Rise Nation and get on the defensive end.
So let's see, you have K-Bar. Oh, so even Clay's running an OSA. I thought he'd be having a K-Bar in hand, but it looks like Enable will be the lone K-Bar. The rest is going to be coming in with OSAs. Now, I think that was Vicento getting it off the map just to make sure that Attach and crew couldn't pull anything cheeky there, try to get points to the board. Getting shut down immediately, the drone carrier by Enable, but you'll have 2 down for FaZe. Drone going into Aqua's hands, and he's doing a little dipping and diving of his own, trying to find an opening here as they're pushing through by something.
Now he's going to drop drone down, watch his back. Nice play there from Aqua. Does not have any lanes where he can push the drone up the map, so going to just try and slay out. It's going to be Vicento now with the drone, and there's 2 players there for Rise Nation, but they both fall. He's going to try and get a 1-point throw off, and it's going to be intercepted. Fantastic play there by Attach, coming out with a big interception.
And what was sick, not only the interception, but the risk of him dying there, maybe then a dunk coming in. He immediately catches it and tosses it off, kind of in one swift movement before he gets taken out. And actually, maybe it didn't. It got stuck in the corner, actually, I think, in the back. I thought he got it off the map, but still, nice play from Attach on defense. Now let's see what Looney can do, as we don't see much of this side of the map. Not a whole lot here in Frost uplink, but trying to take that right side path into research.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen teams avoid that path with the drone over towards the ridge side. It's really been up the middle and in towards that
four down
indoor area of the map, and you see the drone's going to reset. It's going to be Vicento just waiting on drone spawn, has player at the top side of the mini-map. Going to cut over back towards Silo here. We'll see what he tries to do. He's got 2 players directly in front of him. This should be points for Rise.
Let's take a look at it, see if Enable can play defense and maybe get the interception here. He's playing so far back, there was nothing he could do. He finds the 2 kills, but wait, they don't get through? I thought for sure it got through. It doesn't get through? I wanted to watch from Enable's POVs. He tried to play defense. I thought the drone carrier survived. How do you not get a score?
No, it's Enable. He was actually able to pick up 2 kills, takes out the drone carrier. Nice kill there from
Well,
Felony.
maybe it was good of me to go to the defender then.
Yeah, and then Looney picks up 2 kills, but one player comes from the center stairs. He's not able to go back towards the goal in time. And those should have been points for Rise Nation.
Over the top and not through. I think that was a miss, but regardless, Vicento is going to nab it out of the sky. And we'll see as they get back towards Dozer, but now it's going to be only Vicento. The rest of his teammates drop, and now that's 4 down for the side of Rise Nation, and Zuma has the drone. Tension building here over this first half as no one's managed to get points on the board. Could this be our first attack? Some kills in front. The 1-point toss, but it's picked, maybe even unintentionally, but he flies through and almost gets the kill. Nice defensive stands here from either side. Surely we'll see a score eventually, Matt.
And I feel like Uplink, at least in I know Infinite Warfare this far, outside of a few outlier games, I think I saw Orbit like beat a team like 55-0 or something like that.
Yeah, that didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to score, I feel like, than last year, from the standpoint that like you need to get a 4 down to at least get a 1-point play.
You do, but I'm also wondering if it's just also because it's early in the game, they haven't figured out as many 1-point tosses, maybe some routes. I can't wait to see. I don't know. That's why I can't decide. Is it early in the game, or if this game is just harder to get points on the board? I'm not really sure.
I think it is just natively harder to get points. I think it's harder to just continue to... You were able to get it 2-point plays last year quite often because you would just drag teams out of their base on the defensive end by nailing down long 1-point throws. And you're not able to get those 1-point throws now, so you have to get a little bit closer, which plays right into the defensive team's hands.
It really does. I'm wondering if we'll see... I've seen a couple 1-point throws I didn't even know existed. I'm wondering if we'll start to see more develop over the course of the weekend or transitioning from this event forward to Atlanta.
I'm surprised. You're quite the uplink player.
I am.
You know all of the throws.
It's funny. I love uplink. I told you. You know, it's become like my favorite map, and it's become my favorite game mode. I was big on it as soon as it came out in AW. I'll be honest. I have never really played much uplink. I love watching it. I love casting it. I'm just not I'm not a team player. I don't want to have the drone in my hand. I want to put points on the board.
Well, if you're not a team player, you're not killing anybody. What type of player are you?
I'm not a player, man.
Yeah.
I just don't do anything well. I play pumps. Yeah. But now, maybe points on the board for Zuma. Can't get it through. Attach trying to follow it up. Win the gunfight at Helipad. Can't do it. Now enable the last man for Faze. That will be it. The defenses stand strong here in our first half. And this felt like less like a basketball game, more like a soccer game. It's 0-0 is our scoreline.
It's like the Nets-Lakers game the other night.
What was the final score of that one?
Poor. I think it was like a 75-73 thriller. It was just defensive plays from both sides. I mean, teams really, we saw, 2 good attempts from either team to put points on the board. Really defensive favored first half. 0-0 going into the second half.
Well, is there a side that you maybe prefer a little bit here? I think for me, at least this weekend, it seemed to play pretty 50-50. But now with the switch coming in, do you think this favors anyone, or it's just going to be who gets that first point on the board?
This map, I feel like, plays a little bit more 50-50, and I feel like it's just these narrow chokes that you have to go through. And with the OSA and the ability to be able to pick up 2 pieces like with relative ease when these players are coming through the chokes, it makes it so difficult to score.
All right, well, let's see if they can get done. That's 3 down almost immediately, and that's going to allow them at least to layer the map. Enable finds 1 before dropping, and now it's Aqua and crew coming forward. There should be at least a 1-point opportunity, but he gets taken down from behind. Is there anyone there to follow it up? No, it's just Felony now coming across the map, and yet again, a big defensive hold comes in. This time it is Faze picking up 3.
It's like I almost feel like both teams are just not able to keep track of like the spawners. Like they get the first wave of kills, and then there's 0 follow-up on the second wave of kills, and I don't know what Attach is trying to do.
He got lost.
That had 0 chance of working.
No, yeah, it didn't play out very well. But
I'm going to take the drone down here.
Looney going around ridge side, trying to maybe get him behind and flank players. He should be able to come up behind 1 at least. There he does find it. That's going to be 3 down yet again. And now you're able to spawn him out, at least get the map. He can get set up here at Helipad. He's a little bit tagged up, but they're all still going to spawn right directly on it. Can you get 1? Surely. No.
And right there,
no one's ever going to score.
Faze, they pick up Looney in the back, and everybody spawns at Helipad.
There it is!
You jinxed it. It's going to be Aqua able to pick up Attached, and they get a 1-point play on the board, and that's it.
Yeah, I missed the...
It's over.
that might be done, yeah. If it plays anything like that first half, it might be all she wrote, and Rise could take this, but there is still a lot of time left.
When was the last time we've seen like a 1-0, like a low-scoring uplink, like this low-scoring?
Here it is. It's away. It's intercepted. No more points going through. They shut it down. Solid stuff coming in there from Rise on defense. Okay, so was it you and I that casted that 1-1 throwback? There was a 1-1 half of throwback uplink, but then the second half it kind of exploded.
Yeah,
a lot more points got on the board. Here, there has been no such explosion, but now...
No signs of explosion coming either.
Rise, another opportunity maybe to get some points, but 2 will get cut down. Is it now Faze's chance? What do they have to work with? So they do have Rewind here. They have drone in hand, but as soon as they try to push forward, what was at least one gunfight won there by Rise Nation. Things slowed down. How much is this the most time we've ever seen the drone?
It's like I almost feel like I would rather the drone reset here and Faze just kind of rerun their opening breakout strategy and try and pick up the kills that way, because I just feel like right now just the game is just in a chaotic state where you're just seeing like attaches pushing through, then he's got a teammate behind him, there's nobody at the drone spawn, now they're going to pick up the drone, but they're relying so heavily on attach to play against 3 players in that back area, he's going to get taken out.
And the person that was going to come in behind, the timing's a little bit slow. I thought surely Zuma was going to maybe pick up 2 or 3, but they didn't really pinch at the same time. I don't know if that was a miscommunication on the Faze side, but that was developing on the minimap like that was going to be at least 1 point.
No, right there I feel like if Faze just waited an extra second, before trying to wrap that drone through and maybe pull attach back out of the base for a second, they're able to pick up 1 or 2 kills and then get a 1-point throw off, but it's going to be tossing the drone down and trying to move up.
If him and Zuma hit the same time, they get points there, but just a little bit off. Now let's see what Aqua can do. This has been a slow one, ladies and gentlemen, but it is going to be tight down to the wire when it's this close. 1-0, Rise Nation. They are 2 dead though. Faze, if they can win a few more, that's 4 down. They've got to get drone here and go. Attaches got it. Now they're getting forward spawners coming in. There's 2 up so far. They just need to win a gunfight or 2. The first one lost. The second one lost. The third lost as well. And the interception comes in. What the hell am I casting?
It is the teams are able to get 1 wipe, and then they do not slay out the team from the base. They let them spawn up in the base, and you look. I mean, just look at the chokes that the side of Rise has to fight through here. It's just these small corridors where if you're Faze, you get like a 2-piece there, and it just shuts everything down.
All right, well, there may be another chance. Attach, how many times have we seen him with the drone when you think he's I don't want this. Get it out of my hand. I'm coming to win some gunfights. He's now pushing through. Overdrive was used, but he gets cut down pretty much immediately. The 1-point toss does not get off, and now Felony has the drone, and they're just going to say, see you later. They're going to wrap it out. There's 1 player inside of research, which I believe is Zuma, but they're gone.
Yeah, and you're going to see Felony hit this lower wall run.
Stay here.
Yep, he can take this all the way down, or he can stay here, kind of shades of evac from last year.
Yeah, exactly, with 30 seconds left. I know we don't like the whole turtle or keep away mentality, but with this little time, absolutely. Why not? Look at Faze. They're running in circles right now, trying to figure out how to solve this. And Felony is going to spend his sweet time. Now let's look at the hunt. It's just enabled. This is over.
Yeah, I mean, Faze is not picking up any kills in the middle of the map. I mean, just look at the side of Rise Nation. You have Looney on a 4 streak, everybody else on a 1 streak. But still, the kills just not coming in for Faze Clan here towards the end of this game.
And that is going to be Rise Nation taking a very, very close game 3. It was interesting. That might be one of the most defensive uplinks we've ever seen, or I don't know if it's like an incredible defense or an incredible lack of offense.
For a second there, I thought you said offensive. I was like,
have you been drinking?
Yeah.
Casino. Because that is not what we saw. But wow, 1-0. That was phenomenal in the fact that it was just different than anything I've really casted in uplink.
Yeah, a lot of big holds on the defensive end, but I feel like it was just both teams just not being able to get that second wave of kills to open up the other team's base.
All right, so a 2-1 advantage, and now we're going to be going over to another hard point. We saw how the Scorch went. Not pretty for Faze, but we're going to throwback. So throwback, would you say it's more similar to the Scorch type gameplay or more like your Retaliation breakout?
I would say it's more like Scorch.
Yeah,
I would tend to put it more towards Scorch.
It's a bit smaller, right? It's just some part of its size. You know, when you're spawning out, size of the map, a lot more to do with the rotation, a lot more you can punish people. So if it plays anything like it did in Game 1, you would think Rise Nation may be closing it out, but we'll have to wait and see. Before we hop into the Game 4, we're going to toss it down to the boys. Jack, take it away.
This series has been basically the exact opposite of how I thought it would play out, with Faze Clan losing the respawns and Rise Nation. Wait, Yes, Rise Nation losing the S&D. Sorry,
you did that right.
It has been a long day, and we still have more Call of Duty to be played. Obviously, Rise Nation currently up 2-1 in this series. Let's look back at this one, though, as the players get prepared for game number 4. Brief little break for them. Starting off with that first hard point, what made it possible for Rise Nation to absolutely slaughter Faze in that one?
I mean, they were just slaying really well, and you know, I've watched them play Scorch before, and they're just so disciplined as a team. We talked about it. Yeah, sort of the question is always that slaying power, but they picked up Looney, and this is what we talked about before the event, is Looney was sort of this roaming slayer before he was on that Rise Nation team last year. Last year, he had to sort of take a step back, let Octane, Slack sort of pick up the kills, do the dirty work, but now he's free to do whatever he wants.
And we saw the G Fuel key player matchup as that started on up the respawn. KD's very solid for Felony. He does it the same thing there. 100-point clubbing Faze. Faze, who just earlier today beat Splice 250-22 in that same game mode. That was 250-97, but then we switch over to throwback search and destroy. And Faze take that one. What were you seeing from that just wasn't working for Rise Nation?
I don't know what exactly wasn't working for Rise Nation, but Enable on the side of Faze was able to pick up so many rounds. The patient play with that MV4 was working out very well for Enable. But on other maps previous in the tournament wasn't really working for him. So finally getting some sort of success in the game type, which is good to see from him. It was sort of the one that turned the table really in that throwback was that camo play, that 1v1. He was able to get away into barn, pop back out towards market, shoot the player in the back. So ever since then, Rise couldn't really get their foothold on that search and destroy.
Always love how there are those single plays that you can absolutely go back and look at to define a map. But now as we refocus our attention to the game we just saw, probably the lowest scoring uplink I think I've seen here this weekend, 1-0. Overall, how many interceptions between the two teams? Probably 5, 6 on that map alone. Maven says he didn't even know what he was casting. What makes something like that possible? Such a low scoring game. What's the difference between some of the ones where you're seeing dunks left and right?
Just both teams playing excellent defense in their base. They were both just clutching up. I mean, we saw a few favorable spawns for players on Faze, sort of that back helipad area.
Yeah.
But you know, it's tough. I mean, you heard the casters talking about it. Sort of now that the drone isn't have that ability to be thrown over 1,700 buildings, it is very hard, and teams are sort of having trouble figuring out when do they need to put that drone down. You know, that sort of discipline. I think the best sort of uplink team we've seen is Luminosity. They sort of have it figured out, but everybody else still isn't there.
Yeah, I'm going to be a bit critical on that one too. When you're in a defensive-oriented game like that, that's when it largely boils down to those payload abilities. Faze absolutely wasted those. Attach held rewind for the majority of the entire game, was the entire second half. I'm not too sure, but had it for a while. And then looking at Clay, wasted the overdrive, trying to force it up through that middle ice tunnel. You got to take your time. It's a step-by-step process, and Link, they're trying to skip one of those.
And it seemed like every single time they'd go for that throw, the reason why it was intercepted was because it was a last-ditch effort.
Yep.
Let's try to make it happen. There's 3 bodies already there. The rest of the team got wiped out, so they easily were able to stop that one. A 1-0 uplink now. We've been referencing a lot of statistics this weekend. It's been great to have the live stats through the new EVE player on MLG.TV/Call of Duty. Throughout this weekend, I've been getting tweets about it. People loving the upgrades that have been made. You can see it there to knock down some of the new stats that you haven't normally been able to access as a viewer at home. But now with EVE, it is possible. Individual player feeds as well, where you can go and watch your favorite player or stay with the full team at once. So it's quite the unique experience. Love seeing the updates that have been made. And with everything, this is still all in beta with the Score Streak beta as well, where you can go and vote on certain questions proposed on the MLG stream. You can have a leaderboard as well that currently shows your streak. Fun stuff on MLG.TV/COD. Love the updates being made. As we go back to this series, though, for game number 4, Hardpoint coming out. I think the number one thing is, for me, which phase are we going to see in Hardpoint? The one that beat Splice by 228 points, or the one that lost by 153 to Rise Nation earlier this series?
I mean, for me, I think this map, Throwback Hardpoint, plays a little bit faster than the other ones. You know, we even saw it in the last series where, you know, people were getting close to 40 kills, and that's a pretty big deal. So I think that's going to help Faze out a lot. Let's Zuma and Attach sort of roam and constantly be aggressive, especially, you know, with the removal of that Lime Hill in the back.
And I think that's what I'm looking most forward to, are those superstar slayers going big time in the head-to-head battles. We saw it earlier in the Allegiance versus Cloud9 match between Royalty and Assault, who both did hit that 40-kill mark. So rare this weekend. Some of the updates, though, I'm hearing on in the venue. Optic Gaming do 3-0 Complexity. I know Envy versus TK, I believe, is still going on. Last I saw, Envy was up 1-0 there. The Gosu crew actually still alive. They 3-1 their opponents and will continue to play. So still matches going on throughout the venue. Optic Gaming, though, done for tonight. They live to see Championship Sunday, which earlier today you got a question. Yeah. Did they even deserve to be there? Well, they clutch up in their match, and they will live on. Envious still in it as well, and then obviously Cloud9 awaiting the winner of this match tomorrow in that championship winners matchup. The game is beginning to get started on up here, so final predictions from you guys. Do we see a Game 5 one more time on MLG Primetime, or is this one done here? Do Rise Nation somehow take both hard points versus Faze?
I think we do see a Game 5 here. I just got that feeling that...
And it's already midnight.
Yeah, it's just going to happen, Jack.
Good morning to our European fans. Good morning. You guys are now waking up, and it's still Saturday here at the venue. Your eyes do not deceive you. Teep, though, I cut you off there. Are you in the same boat as Merck?
I think so. I think this throwback's going to play into that sort of speed that Zoom and Attach like to play at. One more little thing, though, I wanted to add in just before this next map starts is Facento. Absolutely amazing play. Gave us a lot of flack in Black Ops 3 for not being up to par in many games, but I feel like throughout this tournament, lights out play with that Osa. Great stuff from him.
He's been very reliable. It goes back to the first series they played this weekend against Optic Gaming, who is the guy that showed up in map number 1 in the hardpoint, was even the only player positive in the uplink, if my mind doesn't deceive me. It has been a fun day of Call of Duty. So many wacky, insane results. Teams in the losers bracket that you never would expect to be there. Obviously, teams like Cloud9 who just look to win S&Ds more than any other. Is Patrick Price ever going to go away? Is Aches ever going to go away?
Nope.
Nah,
no?
he's too annoying. I'm just kidding.
Coming from his duo there. Someone please grab that odd shot. No, but we are in the rig draft for game number 4. Woodley throwback hardpoint. As we mentioned, Clayster going back with that Centurion yet again. Has Aqua, Overdrive, Facento, Rewind, Reactive Armor for Looney. And then Felony with the active camo. I want to see some changes be made. I want some claws to be brought out. I'm ready for the Eraser to come into play. Not going to happen this weekend, though, at the CWL Vegas Open presented by the PS4. This could be our final map of the night. Rise Nation, FaZe Clan. Who's going to take it? Let's find out. Casters, please take it away.
Jack's very excited.
Yeah. I mean, Jack's always excited.
He really is.
Yeah,
I live with him now.
Jack has one tone. It's just he's just loud.
Excited?
Just loud.
Try living in the same apartment with you streaming, buddy.
Yeah, no. I mean, so I worked with him.
You're gonna get him a muzzle.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's see if Rise Nation can close it out or will FaZe battle back.
You know, it's kind of funny. It's not really too funny. It would just be quite ironic,
somewhat funny.
Yeah, it's like coming into the series, I thought FaZe would win it, and you kind of look after the first hard point, and you're like, oh man, Rise is in a good spot. They take the second search and destroy. Like, you know, they have a chance. They don't have to win any of the respawns. How funny would it be if Rise were to win this without winning the search and destroy and winning 3 respawn game modes against FaZe?
Well, that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning. Sometimes I just classify teams like that, right? Going into them, like, oh, this team I think I favor in the respawns. This team I favor in the search. This has not been what I expected. So
it's been one of those weekends.
Yeah, it really, really has. Now, remember what happened in the first hard point? Felony exploded at the beginning. Remember, he got a bombardment. I think he started 8-1, something like that at the very beginning. 4-0 here. And that really hot start from him is what really hurt FaZe at the beginning. Thankfully, they're going to be able to cut him down as he was the one spending time at his central hard point.
Yeah, but still a lot of free time here for Rise Nation early. They're going to get 24 seconds. FaZe is going to take the remaining few. I don't think they have an idea. Aqua's in the back there just lurking around. So it's going to be the side of Rise Nation going to be able to create a little bit of a pinch here as Aqua's going to get control of this back barn area. They're going to be able to flood in from 2 sides.
Well, there's kind of one behind him as well, but there's going to be one in front. At least able to find one before he drops. That's a couple down for FaZe, but they're still collecting time, right? Trying to contest is Rise Nation, but Clayster now turning up as he's found a couple of kills here. Not able to find one more, though. Drops, and that's what's so tough. So you saw him in a good position there with a K-bar, and you think he's going to win that. It is so hard to win that against an OSA. So hard.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you kind of have to play either a little bit further back and watch that choke and play at the medium range. But I know on the rotation here, I mean, it'll be Rise Nation taking the lead. But on that rotation, Aqua, you know, he just kind of plays his life in the corner. It's like, I feel like he just needs to get involved in the mix inside of Barn on that pinch, because even if he lives there towards the end, which he did, he got 1 kill, then he drops right away.
Yeah.
Never able to get the hill back. They give the lead to FaZe Clan.
And this, I feel like, for whatever reason, maybe it's just been what I've been casting, but I've only seen a couple of throwback hardpoints. I feel like I've seen a lot more of Retaliation and Breakout and Scorch. Not as much maybe this weekend. That just could be the luck of my particular casting, but so far,
I've
this
seen
one
so many games this weekend.
is blending together, yeah. Well, now FaZe having a bit of a lead. Enable trying to duck and dive here as he's playing low, but he gets dropped by the K-Bar, soaring in, and now Zuma by himself, all 4 get dropped. That's just an easy, quick break for the side of Rise Nation, and now they've got control.
And Felony yet again, I mean, obviously really early into this hard point, but in the first one, he shows up in a big way, getting off to a very nice start. This second hard point is going to be FaZe picking up 3 kills. Felony can only stay alive for very little time. He drops. It'll be Rise able to take the last 10 seconds or so here, so they're going to get a free 10 seconds, and let's see if they can get on the rotation and win a few of these fights.
Yeah, this is the big one, though. This is where I feel like we team teams. Now that Lime is gone, which was kind of your money hill, this is, I guess, where it stands out to me, where you can really rack up some time. We've seen teams really, really punish. And now you've got FaZe set up nicely here at Baseball Field. Let's go over to Attach, because he's going to be the one that deals with some pressure in and around Blue.
But FaZe is actually being spawned out here, though. So you saw Vicento actually in the bottom of your minimap over in the back by Bowling, and he was able to pick up 1, and you saw the spawners coming in on the top of the minimap already from Rise Nation, and that forced the spawn for FaZe to come all the way at the end of Bike Path, and that is a big pinch and hold now for Rise Nation.
Yeah, this has been pretty back and forth. Now it's Clayster inside, but he gets gunned. That's Looney with the KFR at close range. Enable still trying to be annoying in the back, but all the time still going the way of Rise Nation. They're swarming from both sides. There's still 15 seconds here to dance for. And the first one to give it up, though, looks to be Looney. He'll be the number 3 on the minimap. He's going to be wrapping out all the way back around through Grandma's, and he might get some good positioning here. Timing works out a little bit, unfortunately, so Clayster's going to win that rotation battle.
Yeah, Clayster just beats him by a second there. Felony challenges for the last few seconds, but it's going to be Aqua with a kill with a pistol on rotation. That's the second or third time we've seen him with a pistol in the kill feed. Now you see Attach going to get stuck on the bottom there. That's actually Enable getting stuck on the bottom there. He gets taken out. It'll be Rise Nation with control of the center hard point, trying to make a little bit of a comeback, but it's going to be Zuma and Clayster in the kill feed that just take it right back.
Zuma did a nice job kind of flanking around the back, but that's what happens. That's the problem when everyone pushes forward. Look where Felony just spawned. Felony's going to spawn in and fly from behind. You should think they're going to be maybe prepared for this, but the spawns ends up flipping, and when we're going to start to rotate out towards the barn side of the map, this final bit of time might start to benefit Rise Nation as far as the spawns go.
Well, Rise needs to be careful because you see FaZe just trying to build, they're building a little bit of a lead here, and we keep seeing Rise. They pick up the last few kills on a hill, and then they don't rotate late. They have one player go and challenge it. This time, you're going to see Rise Nation rotate over here towards Barn. If they can pick up a few kills, they jump right back into this game.
They didn't even really have to rotate is the issue. You know, when Zuma picked up those 2 kills from behind when he kind of flanked there was no one really anchoring the back of those spawns, so you saw Felony pop up behind. They started to get that split. They didn't really have to fight for it. They were kind of gifted it. Now let's see if they can do anything with it inside a barn. Soaring in is Aqua and Felony as they find a few. Clayster trying to at least answer back here. Shots a little bit all over the place, but he is able to find the one inside. And despite the fact that for some reason, I guess internally, I feel like Rise Nation's been controlling this recently, it's still a 20-point advantage for FaZe.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic break from FaZe in this one. I mean, you saw action coming through the back door and the side, and the guys on Rise inside of the hill, I mean, they just could not stay live long enough. I mean, you saw Felony slide through the back door, and then Aqua had to come in and save him, but Enable going to miss some shots there. It's going to allow players from Rise Nation to get inside of the hard point, and with 15 seconds left, Felony picks up a big 2-piece, and now it looks like FaZe is going to give up on this one. So you're going to see this be like about a 10-point game going into the next hard point.
The camo, though, too much there for Attach. He's in a really nice position. Well, him and Clayster were the first 2 to rotate over, but the camo ends up breaking everything. So the fact you got over to Bike Path early for FaZe, it doesn't matter. That payload ends up being enough, really, to get the break there and to make a play. But now let's see if FaZe can fight through to get control. Gonna lose 1, 2, 3, I think they actually had down there. So some time getting racked up, and we may have a lead change here momentarily.
You see how Looney just playing in these corners inside of the hard point. He's going to have his players, flying on top of the bridge and in towards mid-rails to try and pick up kills, and it'll be Rise Nation taking the lead. But now I feel like Rise, they know the pinch is on. You see Looney just cannot pick which way to watch. He's going to get taken out by Zuma. Zuma and Attach flying in, picking up some kills, getting the hill back for FaZe Clan.
This one's back and forth. We're going to have, I think, double-digit lead changes by the time this one is done, as now Faze is back in control. We'll see the last couple of seconds here, but now's the big one. Let's get to Vicento. He's going to be kind of anchoring the back here by Statue. He's watching bowling, and that's where we saw the break come in from Rise Nation the last time against Faze, right? So he's going to have a lot of pressure to deal with. Teammates dropping around him. He has one in front, not able to do it. That's Enable going big as he finds two. Clay finds two. A third there, and the break is in for Faze, and now they're looking to rack up some time here at Statue.
And that is a huge play from Enable, because with the setup that Rise Nation had, if he doesn't pick up all three of those, Rise is going to be able to hold on to this hill for an extended period of time and blow this game open. And with those 3 kills, Enable just swings it in Faze's favor.
And Zoom, a nice play there with the reactive armor, Matt. He's going to end up finding 3, and this is going to be just about a perfect hard point. I know they weren't the first ones there, so it took them 15 or so seconds to get it. But, I might take it back almost immediately. Right as I say that, everyone in Faze loses their gunfights, and now it's going to be Rise Nation inside. And if they get the final 20 or so seconds here, we've got all but a tie game yet again.
But yet again, this could have been so significantly worse for the side of Faze.
If Enable didn't go big.
If Enable does not go big, this is a 60-second hold for the side of Rise Nation, and then you're looking at they're probably up by 20 or so seconds right now.
Yeah, very true, Matt. So let's get back to top mid in our third bit of rotations here. Looney going to be the one in soaking up time. Aqua should surely have an engagement here momentarily, and by that I mean he's about to get shot in the back. He falls. Now what do we have for Faze? Well, as I try to check Clayster, he drops. You have a couple payloads ready. I want to check and see what we have going. So we have Centurion, which could be huge depending on where he's going to drop it, and you also have Camo, which we saw how big Camo was from Rise Nation earlier. Enable definitely poised to make a big play, but Faze still holding on to a 10 or so point lead now, just kind of going back and forth between these two. But I need to get over to Vicento because he's manning up here at the end of the game as he's on a 5 streak, getting just back close to even. And we more than likely are going to have another lead change.
Yeah, and he's only 75 off of streak, so he can get these if he gets the points for this next hard point capture. So at 10 seconds left, he's going to get set up inside of the barn. They're going to give up the last few seconds towards Faze. And this is what Rise has done consistently. They just have not been able to hold this down. It's going to be a big kill there from Vicento. Dives through the corner, not able to pick up another one. Enable does pop the camo here, and you probably didn't need to use that to break.
Yeah, I thought he was going to use it to break, but I think he used it once they kind of already had broke. And now by him pushing up to try and find kills, look where the rest of his team's not going to be spawning. They're spawning all the way over at Statue.
And I feel like I kind of hold camo and reactive armor like a little bit higher in regard in the abilities, just because those are two that, I mean, I almost lump them in as powerful as like score streaks, for instance, because you are just able to get a free break if you're able to use those wisely. It's going to be Rise Nation taking the lead by 1 here, 25 seconds left. If you're Rise, I think you take the remainder of this time because you know you have those Trinity rockets from Vicento.
Seriously, can someone tally up how many lead changes we've actually had? Because this is, I think it's been pretty absurd. This has been as back and forth as any hard point you'll see, and it's going to be coming down to the stretch now. Vicento picking up the last of the time. Remember, you do still have the Centurion on Clayster, which could end up coming into effect. He's trying to get trophies out here as we're going to rotate over to Bike Path. It's going to be attached, dealing with some pressure in front. He finds one. He does have Clayster behind him as well, and now they're going to pick up a little bit of time. Let's see if they can get back in control, but there is a contest on the opposite side.
And I think if you're Rise, you can test this here, and I think you save the streaks. I think you're still in the controlling portion of this game where you are in the driver's seat. I think you save these streaks.
Well, they're holding on to it for, so what did we have? It was just the 1 streak for Vicento, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he just has the Trinity rocket to work with. And all right, well, he's actually going to call it in now. He's looking for kills in the back, tries to pick Clayster off the back. He found, what, just 1? Well, his teammates cleaned up everything else, but I think he found 1 kill there. What was he going for, maybe the killing blow?
I guess.
But it worked. That's not how it worked out at all.
No, and I mean, there's still 18 seconds left on this hard point, so Faze is going to take the lead here. And, I mean, if you just hold on to that, right? Take the time here, give yourself an opportunity where, let's say it's only a 10-second game, see the Centurion coming down from Clay, and you have the Trinity rockets to break this wide open area in the back.
Oh, there must have been, was reactive used there, or he has missed some shots? I thought he had that, yes it was. So Looney used reactive in the back. I thought for sure Clay was gonna pick up 2. He did get the Centurion out, but now coming across is gonna be Clayster. They've gotten into the hard point in Faze, trying to clutch up 234 to 230 as we're gonna be rotating over. What do you have for Aqua? Because he's just got got overdrive. That's not going to be a big part of this, but the gun up is. They clean everybody out, and now it's going to be control behind this 4 streak for Aqua. They can win it here.
Yeah, and if you're just looking at the clock and where the side of Faze is spawning, this is probably their best attempt. They may not have another attempt to get back in towards the hard point, and 2 of their players drop fast. It's going to be Felony taking out Enable. It's going to be just on attach here to try and break in.
It's done. It's done. Rise Nation gets it, and they are guaranteed top 3. They'll be going on to face Cloud9. They won all 3 respawns. This weekend doesn't make any damn sense.
Just proves we can do all the studying in the world, we can watch as many scrims, and then you get here in person and things just change completely. Rise Nation with 3 respawn wins here against FaZe Clan to take this series. Now Aqua 36 and 27, a great game from him. Vicento has a good game as well, 30 kills. Definitely question the streak use towards the end. I'll have to talk to him a little bit. Definitely question that. But I think you could have played a little bit safer, but
it led to what? Maybe a kill, and they lost the hard
Faze back into the game. Yeah.
But now, not that this is that lopsided that we thought FaZe was going to blow them away, because I mean we're talking about players that were in Elevate last year that had 3rd place finish at Champs, 2nd at Anaheim or Orlando. I mean they had a ton. They were top 3 consistently.
They have